Welcome to Worthy of Work, the podcast dedicated to helping anyone who's done having lousy, lonely, disappointing relationships and who's ready to do the work to build better connections. I'm Stephanie Rivard, and if you've ever questioned your sanity, wondered if healthy relationships are even real, or wonder if there's anything you can do to attract or create a healthier relationship, you are exactly where you need to be. Together, we will unpack the healthy relationship skills no one taught us. Today, we're going to be talking about acceptance and how the word acceptance is not the same as tolerance. And I had that confused for a lot of years, and it was very frustrating. So let's dive in and separate the word acceptance and tolerance and explore how that clarity can help us find solutions, help us live healthier relationships. You may have heard the phrase, we should accept people for who they are, accept our spouse just as they are. Or from the big book, the phrase, acceptance is the answer to all of our problems. Or even from the serenity prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this word acceptance is sprinkled into some pretty common places. But when I first heard that, particularly in the throes of a very difficult relationship, I thought acceptance meant tolerance, to tolerate. Tolerance is the answer to all of my problems. That's what I heard. And frankly, that really ticked me off because I didn't think tolerating bad behavior or bad actions was a solution. In fact, that resembled a lot of the problems that were causing the relationship breakdown. Tolerance was a lot closer to the defects of character that are associated for me with enabling, like denial, minimizing, ignoring, avoidance, and tolerance. So it was packaged in this way that really bothered me until I could understand that tolerating is not what is meant by acceptance. Instead, let's separate those two. Okay, so acceptance now for me means to believe reality, to come to terms with these are the facts. This is what is true and real. To accept reality, whether we like it or not. Acceptance is not how will I respond to it, which we might choose to tolerate it or change it or do a number of other things. It is not how I respond to it, but whether or not I confront it and believe it and see it instead of trying to manage and control and deny and minimize all of these other defects of character. So in time, acceptance changed. It became clear and purified into just Stephanie, just believe reality. Believe what you're seeing. Tolerate. Tolerate, to me, means endure. Endure what maybe you don't want to. Endure something that you don't really care for, or maybe if you had it your way, it wouldn't be that way. And there's times that tolerate is a great response, an appropriate response, but not always. And again, when I misunderstood these sentences about acceptance, and I thought they for sure meant tolerate, it made me feel held captive, victimized, stuck, powerlessness, helplessness. And again, that to me is not healthy living. That is a state of unwell. And tolerate is one of the options. But first I need to accept. I need to accept this is the problem. This is the situation I'm in. And I need to accept a few things here. One, I need to accept the problem in its fullness. And I need to accept, maybe first explore and accept the solutions, the reactions I have available to me. And again, one of them might be to tolerate, but the other ones might be to leave, to ask for something different, to, I don't know, quit your job, hire a counselor, paint your house, whatever the situation is that you're struggling to confront and to believe. I need to also believe the reality, believe all of the solutions that I see. There might be others, but these are the ones I see right now, and accept those as well. That now is my understanding of acceptance. And for me, this feels way healthier than acceptance means tolerance. Why? Why am I arguing that this is a better use of these words, a healthier perspective of these words? It's because if acceptance meant tolerate, it would defy some very obvious decisions, healthy decisions. And let's use a few extreme examples to demonstrate this. If a person is living with an abusive spouse or an addict, would we say the healthy response, like an act of health and maturity, would be to tolerate abuse? Never. Never, ever, ever. Would we say it is the healthy response to tolerate addictive behavior in your home? No. That is not an action of health. That extreme example shows us that tolerating dysfunction is not the healthy option. Therefore, the theory, again, my flawed idea of acceptance as the answer to all my problems, I thought tolerate is the answer to all of my problems, cannot be true. That's the wrong correlation, wrong use of the word of acceptance. Instead, with this new definition of acceptance, of believe reality, let's just believe reality. When we insert that into these extreme scenarios to test this word, it makes a lot more sense. Let's try it. Someone living with abuse or an addict, if they were to believe reality, come to terms, face the really uncomfortable fact that this is happening to them in their home. If they really had to face that, is that the answer to all of their problems? If we're going to return to that sentence. Well, it's the start. It's the start to the solution. It is the start of the answer to all of our problems. And I've lived this. When I started using, and I clarified that word, it was the start to the answer to all of my problems. Because how can I solve a problem I'm denying, minimizing, and tolerating when maybe that's not the right response? Instead of when I could believe reality and accept, holy smokes, this is what's going on and I don't like it, but I'm at least going to live in reality and not live in this illusion that maybe it's about to change, or if I did this other thing, it could change. But just to accept it. That is when I could see choices. I saw the options in front of me. Some of them were sad. Some of them were to tolerate more of the behavior that I didn't want to tolerate anymore. I didn't want to live with anymore. That was one of the options. But it wasn't the only one. The other ones were to take action, to set a boundary, to seek professional guidance and help to navigate, to even explore my options. But it taught me that when we hear these words, acceptance, and I was confused, I thought they meant tolerate. It kept me actually stuck in the problem. It caused me to feel so trapped and almost claustrophobic. and it just sucked the wind out of any capacity for self-possession, for self-responsibility. And it gave me this illusion that a healthy person, a healthy response, and a recovered response is just to tolerate everything. And let me tell you, I have tried it, and that is just a doormat. That is a state of a doormat. Just tolerate everything. And then to do it in this name of virtue, ugh, goodness. It was so helpful for me to clarify that. I hope that might help you too. Let me know, drop a comment, a question, and let me know if understanding that difference, acceptance and tolerance, if you got that muddied up as well, and maybe that perspective can help tidy up some of the thinking for you as well. Till next time. That's it for today's episode. If this resonates with you, please subscribe, share, or leave a review. It helps more people find this work. And remember, I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who once thought dysfunction was pretty normal. I wanted better and learned new tools. And so can you.